foremost, the interesting part of you try and tell recruits not commit. From an outside standpoint, people would think that you're crazy, but give the rationale towards that.
Well, we want them to commit in some ways. We just want them to commit to us and not make it public, because what ends up happening is a kid, we've got a little bit of a reputation for finding some kids that become good players, and so what it does, everybody else kind of puts them on the radar, checks them out, and we feel like we're recruiting good players. And so, as a result, a lot of people jump in there maybe that weren't involved in the recruiting process before. It makes it a little more complicated, but that's part of recruiting. That's the way it goes nowadays. You can't hide kids out the way you used to be able to, and that's okay. We feel like we've got a lot to sell at Louisiana Tech.
And with recruiting, you were saying you don't really compete too much with Tulane or Lafayette, but mostly with Southern Miss and TCU. How much does that help, even though they are top-notch programs?
Well, a lot of it has to do with proximity. We recruit in South Louisiana quite a bit, and obviously Tulane is going to be in there, and it just seems like we just recruit different kids for whatever reason. But Southern Miss it's been a strong hold for them through the years. A lot of the kids from New Orleans area and South Louisiana have gone to Southern Miss and been successful, and so we battle them. And then in North Louisiana, battle programs like SMU and TCU and those type of schools. Missouri, and run across them a lot. So that's recruiting. I think what happens now because of the internet information is people's nets are a little bit wider than they were in the past when it comes to recruiting, and it's not as regionalized as it used to be, and which is fine. There's so many good kids in the state of Louisiana, and we're blessed to have this many good players in our state.
2 years ago when you first came here, you said one of your biggest jobs was to make sure that people who wear Louisiana Tech gear Monday through Friday wear Louisiana Tech gear, and then when they switch over to LSU, get them to keep the Louisiana Tech gear on. One of the biggest keys was winning. Do you think that has...
Well, I think it helps. I think it helps. I mean, what you've got to do, I think the reason people support LSU, it's obviously a large university and there's a lot of alumni, but it's because they've got such a proud tradition and they've had a great, they've been successful and had a great past. We've got to be able to try to match them in terms of just being successful. We've got to go out there and string together some winning years back to back, some bowl appearances, win some bowl games, and get in the national conversation a little bit. And when that happens, then people are more apt to support you and wear your stuff and come to your games. And so that's a challenge for us to provide a quality product and something that people get excited about.
Can you talk a little bit about the recruiting class overall in Louisiana this year? How it's looking?
Yeah, it's a good class. I think that there are, it's probably maybe not as deep at the defensive line position maybe as it has been. Certainly in the South, there's probably more kids in North Louisiana at those positions in the Shreveport, Ruston area. It's a pretty good year for quarterbacks in the state. There's going to be some kids that are going to get some scholarships out of the state. And there's always great skill in the state of Louisiana, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. But again, we've been really pleased with the amount of D linemen really in North Louisiana. It's a little bit unusual.